let's just turn it off, right? So you can hear it. I'd love to be able to turn it down and just use it like background music. So maybe that's something that Rumble will pick up in the future. And of course, I probably could add a soundtrack in the background, but then I'm always afraid I'm going to get with that copyright infringement or something. Something would happen. So let's celebrate Friday, folks. I hope that you've had a great week. Let's do this. We are live. So if you want to jump into the comments, into the live chat, whatever channel you're watching or listening from, that would be awesome. How do if you're having a great week, put a one in the comments, right? If you're having a great week, put a one in the comments. I love to celebrate Fridays with you as we try to finish the week strong. And since I'm big on planning, since I'm big on journaling, since I'm big on strategy, it's easy to finish the week strong when you start each day out with a quiet moment. For me, it's I get up, I have coffee, perhaps a little scripture reading time with my wife, some prayer. After that, I get some quiet time by myself. When she goes to work, I'm able to get into my digital planner. I'm able to, architect the day, right? Let's look at the schedule. How many appointments do we have? How many things what do we have going on? And then I can, kind of just be geared for the day. It's hard to explain it, right? But there's days when I don't do that. There's days when I wing it, right? And then it's like, bing, you got a meeting in 15 minutes. Bing, you got a meeting in 30 minutes. Bing, something, it starts right now. Click start, and that's not mentally healthy for me. For me, I have it set up with my appointment setting tools that I need a 24-hour notice before you can set a meeting with me. So I'm sure that there's a few tricks that I have up my sleeve that you might want to adopt. This is one of them. If you use an appointment setting tool, go into the settings and set it so that someone needs to give you a day's notice before they have a meeting with you. And so while it is sometimes surprising that people schedule appointments, it's great that they do, but I need more notice than 2 hours. So what I do is I set the timer for 24 hours. I need 24 hours notice if you want to have a meeting with me. And then that way, when I get up in the morning and I have my quiet time and my scripture time and my balance time, and then I come in and I pull up my appointments, I can look at that and I write it into my journal, my planner. I go, meeting at 9 o'clock, meeting at 11:30, meeting at 2. But what that does, now, granted, if you're watching this, you might be thinking, well, you have it on a calendar. You just said you pull up your schedule. Yes, I pull up my schedule. I have an electronic schedule. But the act of writing it into my planner, and then a place to keep my notes for those things, and a place to keep notes from the inspirational reading that I did, or my 3 goals of the day, or, did I go work out? Like I have a monthly tracker for habit tracking. So did I work out? Did I read for entertainment? Did I read for inspiration? Did I, those things, that's all part of that. And that is what gives me a sense of balance in my day. And I use this tablet right here. I use a Remarkable 2 tablet. I would love to get a Remarkable Pro. I'm going to throw this out to you guys. Look up what a Remarkable 2 is, brand new. I keep my stuff really nice. Like I keep it covered. It's not scratched. It's not, it's not banged up. It doesn't have a cracked screen or anything like that. If you are listening to this right now and you're like, man, I'd like to try a Remarkable 2, but I don't feel like paying $600 for one. Look up what they cost, whatever the current discount is or whatever that is. And if you want to buy this one, now there's only one of them. If you want to buy this one, I'll sell it for 50% off. And so you could just send me an email and we can do something, whether it be a Stripe invoice or a PayPal payment or whatever. I'm willing to sell this for half the price of a new one. And then that'll give me the justification to upgrade. I want to upgrade to a Remarkable Paper Pro. But it's like I didn't buy the Paper Pro yet because this works. I'm one of those frugal people. I have a hard time with buying something just because. But if I sell this one, then I'll buy a new one, right? And then I'll upgrade myself. But I'm not going to upgrade until I get rid of this one. All right. So I see some folks are joining the live. I'm going to go back to this again. The name of this is Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. If you are happy, if you feel like you've done the week strong, I want you to go ahead and put a 1 into the live chat. Go ahead and put a 1 into the live chat. If you feel like, man, I worked my butt off and I just didn't get anywhere, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. Go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. For me, it is so today was such a reminder of what inspired me with writing this book, Action Leadership from the Edge. I put out this book in 2022. I don't promote it near enough. I know that if I was trying to be on the Amazon bestsellers list, I would have content out every day, every hour about this book. But I put this book out in 2022. I've got a sister course available for it. It's got a website, actionleadershipteam.com. So you could go look at that. But today was another reminder of this. And let me tell you why. Uh, Consistency. Action leadership requires that you get involved. Action leadership implies that, yeah, you have the thought, but you also have the action behind it. And part of that is consistency. Even when things slow down, even when things miss a beat, I believe I believe that you need to be consistent. I believe you need to put in the effort. I believe so. I'm a person of faith, and people will say, "Oh, we'll just give it up to God. God will take care of it." And while that's true to an extent, I also believe that God gives you certain talents. God gives you certain energy levels. He gives you these talents and these gifts so that you can use them. And so I believe that it's up to us to take action with our gifts or our abilities. And sometimes the results aren't always instant. See, that's another thing is I spend a lot of my life thinking God's late. Just to be honest with you, I think God's late a lot of the time. But in reality, in retrospect, in that hindsight 2020 perspective, he's never been late, and it always shows up on time. And it's just me being a grumpy human. Uh, I can't give you the details. I can't give you the details yet because it's not public. But there are a couple areas of my life that have slowed down, especially on the revenue side. And normal entrepreneurs, most business startup type people, when the energy's gone, when the thrill is gone, when momentum seems to be waning, a lot of people are quick to jump ship. And I used to be like that. And I've paid the price. I have a couple of projects in my past where I shut those projects down, and then a year later, someone else does the exact same thing and becomes a millionaire. And it's like I was ahead of the market. I didn't have the patience. I didn't execute with consistency, and that's my fault, right? So that's one of the things that I have to think about. Let me check for I had this set on the wrong setting for I didn't have it on all. I had it set to something else. But so I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. How about that? I put a 1 in the chat. Um Consistency has payoff. This is one of those things where people naysayers will say, "Nah, you're full of it. It's luck. You manifested it. I saw that movie, The Secret. You must have manifested it." No, I was consistent. I stayed on people's minds. I didn't give up when the momentum waned. And we have been doing work with a certain organization, and I got the call today, just today. Um, hey, there's going to be some changes. We might need to leverage you for more. Are you going to be available in the coming year to help us with this? And I'm not going to give you any more details than that because I just can't. Okay. But my point here is this: we're coming up on the end of what's been a unusually dry season for Manana No Mas. And I'm like, just stick with it. If it's going to be slow, I'm going to learn more about AI. If it's going to be slow, I'm going to make more content that is more appealing. If it's going to be slow, I'm going to research my local SEO and I'm going to see how I can enhance my search engine optimization. See, you got to stick with me, folks. What I'm saying is just because it's slow doesn't mean you stop. You got to keep moving. You got to be consistent. You got to keep applying yourself, the skills and the talents that our creator gave us. And when you do that, people notice. So not only that, we have another organization that we supply services to, and they said, we were having a conversation, and I said, well, it's been slowing down a little bit here at Manana No Mas, and we haven't seen a large project in a while. We've got a couple in the till, we've got a couple in process, we've got a couple requests for quotes out, but we don't have active revenue right now in this space. We have multiple verticals, right? So as I manage multiple verticals within the business, I was just honest with one of our contracts, and I said, we're really we're really kind of dry in this one vertical right now. So if you have anything, just let us know. Boom. projects fall out of the sky, right? Oh, we didn't realize you were open. Here you go. That relationship is, if I'm transparent about what I need or what we're available for, that that availability can be filled. That's what I'm talking about, right? So when I say fitness, focus, freedom, Friday, focus is that consistency. We're talking about that right now. We're talking about that consistency. And then the freedom is, I have the freedom to approach these contracts. These, you know, it's different when you're full-time employed and you're in a cubicle farm and you're working 40 hours a week with somebody. You're going to get paid for your 40 hours regardless of the workflow. And maybe the layoffs come, maybe the layoffs don't come, right? But it's not like you're like, "Oh, how can I make more?" right? As an entrepreneur, you're always thinking, how can I make more? How can I improve this? How can I grow this? How can I how can I be more efficient and more financially productive without burning myself out? That's like this juggling act that we all do. And part of the Fitness Focus Freedom Friday message that I put out every week is to try and come at you every week with something that's risen to the top. Today was like icing on the cake. Like right before I was making this, I was like, this is phenomenal. The timing is amazing, right? Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. Focus and freedom taken care of in that one phone call. That one phone call was, are you going to be available in 2026 to extend our use with you, right? And again, I'm not going to give you any more details because I got to wait until it's okay to say it publicly, right? I'll make a big announcement. I'm pretty excited about it. So my excitement is another reason why we got the consideration. I should be like super clear about this. Like when you're doing work, when you're working with people, be excited for the work that you're doing. Have some passion for it. And because I had that passion, because I was able to maintain focus, because I was able to keep pressing in on the category, right, on that vertical, because I was able to keep pressing in on that vertical and show consistency, when the opportunity rose, we were the first call, right? And I say we meaning me. I was the first call. So that's that. Now, let's jump on to fitness. Ta-ta-da! True. Hit the gym again today. Feel great. I went to the gym Wednesday, and so Sunday I went mountain biking, and it was surprisingly a much better result than I had expected. Just gonna be honest with you. It was cold. It was muddy. Uh, it took a fair amount of watts to get through the mud and the caked up mud on the tires. And I really thought, man, I'm going to pay the price for this later. I ended up doing 5 miles and got back to the camper van, cleaned things up, got in. I had the heat running in there the whole time, so it was toasty warm when I got back in the van. And hey, that's a good one. Let's put that in the chat. If 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 you think having a camper van would be the bomb giggity, put a one in the chat. I have a camper van and I just absolutely love it. I just love it. And it's not a fancy one. I bought an old SWAT truck for $6,000 and redid it, and it's wonderful. It's like an apartment on wheels. And when I go mountain biking, when I'm done mountain biking, I can go in there, I can change, the heat is on. I got a refrigerator. If I want to heat up some food, like if I was at distance, I could literally like cook a meal in the dang thing. I could take a nap and sleep overnight if I wanted to. I got two different beds in it, got storage, got a mobile kitchen in it, and it fits in a regular parking spot. Like, ding, 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 ticks a lot of boxes. So, really enjoyed. If you think having a camper van would be the bomb giggity, put a one into the live chat. That would be fun. And someday, if you guys want, let me know if you want me to share like how I got it, how I made it, and what I do with this van. I would set up a whole like screen share pictures, show you the process, and show you exactly what we built. For what I have invested in this thing, it sure does pack a lot of fun. The return on investment with that camper van has been pretty friggin' amazing. In fact, we used it as a moving truck when we moved from California to Kansas. And so that right there almost made up the initial purchase price of the truck, because renting a moving truck from U-Haul at the time cost about what the whole truck cost me to buy. So it's almost like having a free truck. It's really quite fun. Now I go back to Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over again because I want the powers that be to pick up on those keywords and put this video out in front of people that need this kind of messaging. Fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. We covered focus and freedom. Fitness, I was in the middle of telling you. I went mountain biking, went to the gym on Wednesday. Today, went to the gym again today. Great shoulder, chest, and back workout today. Shoulder, chest, and back. And it's interesting because there are times that I wake up and people that know me are going to find this very hard to believe. I have a reverse eating disorder. Uh, I'm not horribly obese. It's not like I'm that. If you ever see that movie, The Whale, the guy's like 600 pounds and he'll order a pizza every night and just devour 3, 4 pizzas. It's not that. I don't have like that kind of a disorder, but what I have as a body dysphoria issue is there are times that I look at myself in person. Like I could look down now and I go, man, I'm looking pretty good. I feel pretty thin. I am not thin. I'm the furthest thing from thin. I'll see a picture that somebody takes of me, and I'll see the picture, like even if they just share it online, like I'm a mountain bike coach, and so someone took my picture at one of the mountain bike events, and it was on the group page, and I saw a picture of myself, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't even recognize myself. I was like, "Who's that fat jerk?" And it was me. I was the fat jerk. Uh, but like when I look at myself, if I see myself in the mirror, or if I see myself in a window, or like when you bicycle by a window front in the store, you kind of look over. I look over and I see myself riding my bicycle. I'm like, man, I'm looking good. And then I see a picture of myself and I go, oh my God, I got fat. And so I struggle with that a little bit. So it's really important to me that I stay on the bicycle, that I get to the gym on a regular basis. Now, I eat well. I eat really well. We smoke our own meats. We smoke our own bacon. We have brisket. We have chuck steaks. We have chuck roasts. All those things. Fresh vegetables. Whenever possible, I buy the fresh vegetables. I like cheese. That's probably a problem. I like cheese. I drink a lot of coffee. Where it really goes south is I love beer, wine, and bourbon. I love beer, wine, and bourbon, and that's a problem, right? It's not a problem like I'm not some kind of dysfunctional human being, but it's the calories. It's the calories. If I stop drinking beer for a month, my belly just kind of evaporates, and so sometimes I think, well, maybe I should just stop drinking beer for half a year. But the thing is I like it and I like beer. So I really struggle with that whole idea of why should I give it up if I really enjoy it? I can just bicycle more or work out harder. And so I try to stay active, stay on the bike, stay at the gym, and try to be active, like work in the yard and do things like that. Winter is a real problem for me in Kansas because winter in California, I could still be active. I could still go out. I could still do things. Winter in Kansas is a little more harsh. And so I struggled last year and I gained more weight than I had expected. And so I had to work pretty hard this spring and summer to kind of get down to something manageable. And while it is still manageable, it is not optimal. So I still need to lose a few more pounds, and I probably just need to cut back a little bit more on beer, wine, and bourbon. But I really do like beer, wine, and bourbon. That comes into that freedom part, right? So fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. Okay, so today's Friday. We're wrapping up a pretty strong week. Couple of things. Again, I told you it was a little bit slower for us in the office, so I got to embrace a couple of things. I was running a lunch and learn last Friday. I think we talked about that last week. So I was running a lunch and learn last Friday, and that lunch and learn was on the use of artificial intelligence for business, and it was on the practical use of artificial intelligence for business. And I began to explore more and more AI tools. Now, I use AI all the time because I'm an agency, right? And I came up with an interesting anecdote to compare AI and its use. See, my wife has a friend that moved into a new house. And behind this new house, it's an old house, but it's a new house to her. Okay, so maybe I need to be more clear. She moved into a house, and in the back of this house is a shed. And in that shed Yeah, I'm not making this up. In that shed is thousands of dollars worth of woodworking equipment. To most men that I know, whether you're a woodworker or not, you would still be like, "Ooh, look at this." I mean, there's a planer, there's a router, there's a table saw, there's jigs, there's all kinds of things in there. There's even some wood left behind. Like this house, got sold, and this stuff was left in the back, and it's got this full blown woodworking shop in the back, and it hasn't been cleaned. It was like it was being used and just vacated. So I don't know if the guy passed away or what. I don't know the backstory, and I don't need the backstory. But here's the way I think about artificial intelligence. If someone knew how to use all those woodworking tools and they said, "Man, I'm going to build a spiral staircase. I've always wanted to build a spiral staircase. I'm going to go and build a spiral staircase." A craftsman could go into that room and start building the components to build a spiral staircase. And they could probably build an awesome spiral staircase. Now, I could go into that same workshop with the same intention and think that I'm going to build a spiral staircase. And by the time I was done, it would be nothing that any of you would want to climb up, right? That's what AI is like to me. AI is like it's a shop. Whether you think of like a woodworking shop or a metal shop or a machining shop or antique restoration shop for cars, right? People that have the skill set, people that know what the outcome is supposed to be, people that can rub and edge and sand and manipulate and move and tweak, people that understand, you know, the construct of what they're working with, they can build amazing pieces of art in these shops. Think about like a metal shop that does like art. There's people that can go in with a welder for the first time and spot weld a couple of horseshoes together and come up with something that goes in the garden, right? But then there's somebody else that could take a wheelbarrow full of horseshoes and then turn it into this giant sculpture of a beautiful horse with its mane looking like it's on fire coming over a hill, right? That's the difference between someone that knows how to use AI and someone that doesn't know how to use AI. And that's why I firmly believe that AI is not going to encroach on the agency space, because the average user doesn't have the time or patience or the energy to become an expert in how to use AI to that degree. And so last week I put out a YouTube video on the Manana No Mas YouTube channel, and that was about is the growth of AI going to kill agencies? Obviously not, right? So, but hey, I would still encourage you to go watch the video, like it, share it, and all those things. The other thing for videos was I did, again, because that vertical was a little slower, and I thought, how can I make content that pays it forward? How can I make content that people would find value in? And so I built a website with Astra, ZipWP, Creator LMS, which is the newest LMS that I know of in the WordPress space, Creator LMS, WP Funnel, and Mailmint. And so I created this long form video on exactly how to use these tools and put these things together. And that video is up on YouTube, as well as a shorter video that's kind of a review of that project. And so we were able to get all of that up last week. Now, with just a few more minutes in this live to go, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a break. Do this. Tell me if you think the length of me going live 2-3 times a week, if you think the length that I do is appropriate, go ahead and put a 1 in the comment. No, don't put a 1, because it's going to get mixed up with the other ones. Put a 10. Put a 10 in the comments. If you think the time I spend on these is appropriate, put a 10 in the comments. If you think these should be shorter, put a 20 in the comments. Put a 20 in the comments. If you think the length is good, it's a 10. If you think these should be shorter, make it a 20. So, one more thing I want to talk about with just a couple of minutes that I have left on my own little personal timer here. And that is, I want to talk about this. the WP Minute and the Agency Action Show. Uh, I got invited to another episode of the WP Minute, and it wasn't the Agency Action Show. It was actually kind of a panel discussion. It was Raquel, Eric, Matt, and me. And we got on and we were talking about our WordPress predictions for 2026. It was fun. We had a blast. But we also just released the latest episode of the Agency Action Show. And I believe that this show is one of our better ones. It was on paid discovery. And so I encourage you to look up the WP Minute, look up the Agency Action Show. I got referred to as the co-star. Instead of being a co-host, I got referred to as the co-star yesterday. And that was kind of fun. That was amusing for me. So my co-star, Toby Crines, I think is fairly bit of genius. And it's really interesting for him and I to converse, to talk, to bounce ideas off of each other. And we're getting a fair amount of comments on this show. Like, people seem to enjoy the content, especially people from a business or from an agency perspective. And there's not a lot of that energy out there, especially truthful energy. Like, if Toby or I struggle with something, we're going to say we struggle with it or we suck at it. And we're open to helping suggestions. We don't ever want to put ourselves up on some kind of pedestal like we have all the answers, because we don't have all the answers. And so, but it's really fun with me and Toby because we both have the same heart for it, and it's been working out really, really well. Now, that said, the Mañana No Mas stuff is moving along great. I told you I was working on AI stuff. I developed an AI avatar to introduce our latest web offering through Mañana No Mas. That was interesting. If you go to my LinkedIn, you're going to see the original video that I posted this morning, and then you're going to see the remade video that I posted this afternoon. That would be an interesting thing for you to do. So I realize you might be watching this on Rumble, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on X, whatever. But I'm here to tell you, I put these AI avatar videos on my LinkedIn page. So if you go to LinkedIn and you look up Kurt Von Ahnen, you're going to see two different videos, same lady, same script, but I edited the second video. And what I was looking for, quite honestly, from you folks, is I'm looking for some feedback as to, is it really a good video? Like, I'm still on the fence about this. It almost took me as much time to have the AI make the edited video than if I would have just made the video myself. But it's kind of interesting to have a different face representing the brand. And so I was kind of just looking for some feedback on that. So if you would, go check them out. Go check out those videos. I'm going to have them both up on YouTube real soon too. But on YouTube, it's kind of hard to figure things out sometimes based on like a timeline. So if you went to my LinkedIn, you would see, oh, that's the first one and this is the second one. And so that would be easy for you to do. Now, on the Kurt Von Ahnen page, wow, look at that. It went to the top. I thought I had that on the bottom. Let me turn that off. Let me turn that off. There we go. Kurt Von Ahnen. So at kurtvonahnen.com, we still have one-on-one coaching available. It is still available at the entry price. I have not raised the rate yet. My promise to people as I launched this initiative, I launched this about 6 weeks ago. My promise was I was going to wait until my calendar got to a certain vacancy, and then I'm going to increase the rate, right? It's a supply and demand issue. So right now, if you go to kurtvonahnen.com and you want to do some one-on-one consulting, training, coaching with me, I am available for that. Schedule yourself a discovery call. There's the discovery call, and then there's the follow-up appointments that we could have for the coaching, for the one-on-one coaching. And like I said, that introductory rate is still very much in effect there. Also, I mentioned the planner to you guys. Every Black Friday, I put out that planner. I've been doing it now for 5 years, where I give away the digital planner. It's the Mañana No Mas digital planner. If you go to mañananomas.com, you'll see that you can download the planner for free there. And I'm going to add it to the Kurt Von Ahnen site as well for a free download. So you'll be able to go to kurtvonahnen.com or go to mañananomas.com and download a free planner. There are people selling these planners for 25, 35, 39, 52, 54, $79 all over the internet, and it drives me crazy because realistically it's involved to make it. It's a completely hyperlinked planner with pages for journaling and all the things I talk about. It's a fully done planner, hyperlinked. You can click on pages and move. It does everything. At the end of the day, it's a PDF. And I really have an issue with someone trying to sell you like a fillable PDF for $79. I think that's kind of crazy. And so there's people like me. There's other people like me that make these kinds of assets that people can use at no charge. And I think it gives you just kind of an insight into what it's like to do stuff with Kurt Von Ahnen and Manana No Mas. So if you want that, head over to kurtvonahnen.com, head over to manananomas.com, grab yourself the free planner. It works perfect with Remarkable too, but I believe it would also work with like iPad, Android tablet, anything with a touch screen would be the easiest thing to do with that. All right. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Friday. I hope you finish the week strong. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll hit it hard again come Monday. All right. Where am I going to go now? Banners, design. Here's where I'm going: music.